Ernie, so good to see you again. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Petey. Great talking to you.
Yeah, absolutely. You can answer this specifically with Frozen Empire, but I find this journey of kind of reading scripts and then kind of seeing it come to life on screen is really
Right.
kind of fascinating. So specifically, what is that like reading a Ghostbusters script and then actually going and filming the thing? Like, I'm curious about that a little bit.
Yeah, but I think they say it's three stages: the film you intend to make, the film you make, and then the film that it actually turns out to be, which is very, very different. Um, it, I love the film that we intended to make. I love getting together with everyone and really enjoy the whole process. But then by the time all the hands get involved, I sit in the theater and I kind of go, wow, that's what it was. But I love this Frozen Empire because on all those levels, it more than met my expectations. To see what Garaka really looks like and how that sort of comes, is it a real threat or not? All that was pretty amazing, and I'm just so proud of this movie.
And the original cast and then the new cast, because even with Afterlife, I find it so cool because with these movies, it's like familiar territory and unfamiliar territory at the same time, right? There's kind of
Yeah.
these tributes to and references to the original movies, but then there's these new characters, new things. Like, did you feel like it was a unique kind of situation for yourself from an acting perspective as well, like when you signed on to the new ones?
Yeah, I think so. We as the franchise moved forward and the new people sort of come in, and all of whom I adore. They're all truly talented and amazing. And yet, where do we play a part in this? And yet, we're still there. And but how do you mix that together? And I thought Gil Kenan, who directed this and co-wrote it with Jason Reitman, I thought they did a great job of just giving everybody a purpose and a reason for being there, as opposed to just sort of being there because we all sort of come together to save the world and all that. But yeah, I just felt it was a great story, and it's fun to finally see it in the theater.
One of my favorite things about Frozen Empire, Afterlife did this, but I think it was kind of just elevated in this film, is when you're watching a film like this, especially in the movie theaters, you really feel like you're strapped onto a ride. You feel like you're really kind of with the Ghostbusters and everything. And I'm just curious, because that's how I felt watching as an audience member. When do you start thinking about the audience member, becoming conscious of the audience member? Like, do you ever think about it when you're making the movies, or does that kind of happen afterwards?
Well, I think it kind of happens afterwards. I think when you're in the middle of this universe,
Yeah.
of this story, whatever the story is about, you just sort of get lost into this. You want to believe it's real. You want to believe the reality of it all. And yeah. So, and if this universe works, this universe will, whatever the story is, if I can really believe that I'm a Ghostbuster, or I'm a detective, or I'm whatever, then you hope the audience will also buy into that believability. If I'm in it and I don't believe this is really happening and there's no such thing as Garaka, then that makes it hard. The audience, if you don't believe it, the audience won't believe it either.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I don't think so much about what the audience. I just, this is, we're on another planet now,
Yeah.
whatever it is. And then if we're all invested in it, then when the audience come, they will also, I think, invest.
Well, I feel like from an acting perspective, you really try not to think about the audience while you're on
Yeah,
set.
no. Yeah, no, that, and I've seen actors who kind of go, well, I can't look a certain way because what will they think? No. Once you do that, no, we got to be, whatever this thing is you're trying to create, and it's hard sometimes because sometimes the writing is not 100%. But I want to believe that if I'm playing somebody's husband, I want to believe that this is reality as best I can. Obviously you're in
100%.
and out of it, but I want to believe this is real, whatever we're doing.
Yeah. We talked about this a little last time because we did speak about Afterlife, and it was cool because you told everyone to stay and watch the credits, and they did. And
Yeah.
we're talking about the next movie. So there are many, iconic worlds, franchises, and everything, but I feel like Ghostbusters is a rare one where, like, the logo is iconic. The song is iconic. The characters are iconic. Do you know what I mean? There's like a lot of many elements. Do you know what I mean by that a little bit?
Right. Yeah. I think And I think too, there are other, franchises, obviously, Star Wars, Star Trek, so many others that, but I think Ghostbusters really, I think the fans embraced it in a very, very special way, that made it iconic.
Mhm.
And then I felt the studio had to kind of catch up with what the fans were. I mean, the fans built those things themselves. They didn't really, you couldn't buy them. They just, so yeah, there's something that
It's like
sort of
it's iconic in many ways, kind of like the Star
ways,
Wars, like the
and it kind of grew out of this fandom. I think I felt with Star Wars, and I love those franchises and some of the others, Star Trek.
yeah,
The studios sort of knew what they had, and they kind of fed that. But
totally.
I felt with Ghostbusters, there was a gestation period when there was nothing happening, but the fans sort of allowed it to become this thing on their
Yeah,
own in a weird way. I mean, it wasn't a lot out there
yeah.
until finally it was like, oh wow, this is lasting. Let's now come in. But it
Yeah.
took a while for the fans just on their own to just hold on and love the movie.
100%. And last question before we wrap up here. I mean, so much happens before you go to camera on a project. There's kind of the before filming and then the after filming where you're figuring
Right.
out what's happening and like table reads and all that, costumes, everything. And then you go film the thing. And in a lot of ways, from an acting storyteller perspective, Ernie, you can look at it as two storytelling journeys before filming and after filming, or you
Right.
could look at it as one big journey with like multiple steps. Do you look at it as one or two journeys from an acting storyteller perspective?
Well, yeah, to me, two journeys. I mean, there's a preparation. Preparation for me is you want to know everything. You
Yeah.
want to understand everything. You want to, figure out everything. You want to do all that, and then you want to forget everything.
Mhm.
You want to forget everything that you know. It's weird because
Yeah.
when you are in the process of doing it, I don't want to think about why this is and what my motivation is. And I see actors on the set doing that. And I go, what are you doing? I mean,
Yeah.
it's time to be now. It's not time. That's your homework.
Mhm.
And so I do see it very, very differently. Yeah, you now just need to show up and be, as
Yeah.
opposed to, you know, uh, sometimes things will happen and we have to kind of go, wait a minute, but you got to be present in a different way.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it's so well said. I love Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. Congratulations to you and everyone
Oh, thank
involved.
you.
Ernie, once again, it was an honor and privilege to speak with you. Thank you so much for your time.
I appreciate talking to you. Take care.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.